Welcome to another video by Ferris Leadership. Today we want to talk about how competitive intelligence can help you to develop your strategic plan for moving your company forward. Now, competitive intelligence is the process of gathering information about your competitors so that you can improve your ability to succeed in that environment. To do so, what we're going to do is go over Porter's 5 forces model and talk about the 5 different forces that play on any business. The first of those forces is, of course, regular competitive rivalry between companies. That rivalry between companies requires you then to differentiate your product in some way. Either it's going to be cheaper, or it's going to have more features, or it's going to have better coloring, or more durable. In some way, your product has to stand out so that your customer wants to buy it from you instead of your competitor. If you're successful at this, of course, your sales become higher than your competitor over time, and you advance in the market and hopefully are profitable at that point. The next thing is buyer power. Our customers can exert an incredible influence over our products, because when we put those products out on the market and we know that there's competitors out there, if there's no switching cost between buying one product off the shelf versus buying another product off the shelf, they might just go straight to cost, or they might go to the goodwill of your name in the marketplace, or how good your news media has been, or your social media marketing has been. In any case, if the switching cost is very low, you have to make sure that your product is well differentiated so that those buyers don't switch products just at a whim. Loyalty programs can help. If you are able to establish a loyalty program for your product, somewhat like the airlines do or the hotels do, keeping brand loyalty then is a little bit easier than the lower cost products. The next thing is supplier power. Suppliers can exert a certain amount of influence over the price of our products simply because they can charge an amount that they want to charge, and the way that we go buy the ingredients that go into our products becomes incredibly important at that point. Putting suppliers that can provide the same product against each other to competitively bid is one way to make sure that you keep those supplier costs down. If one supplier feels that they are the only game in town, they could charge pretty much anything they want and their margins could be relatively high. And I've seen a lot of different techniques to use to keep the prices low, especially in high volume pricing like some larger companies can get involved with. The next force that you might have to deal with is the threat of substitute products coming into your market. We do know that there's a definite threat of companies coming in and basically copying your product and rebranding it under a different name to compete with you. Certain patent laws, of course, can help in that regard, but we know that there are certain scrupulous competitors, such as certain manufacturers in China, that will just buy a few of your products off the shelf, reproduce it, and send it on over as a rebranded product. So there's always going to be the threat of substitute products in the market, whether they're legal or illegal. And you need to be able to be sure that you understand that those products could exist out there, and make sure that you keep advancing your product forward fast enough that they can't duplicate the products, except maybe the older products that people would find less desirable. And last of those 5 forces is the threat of new entrants into your marketplace. Now, new entrants come in the form of other products that compete in your service area. Now, for example, Boeing pretty much had a monopoly in selling planes until about the mid-1960s or so, when Airbus began to start their business. And now Airbus continued to grow and continue to grow, and now basically Boeing and Airbus split the market about 50-50. So At this point, the companies that are buying airplanes are buying how soon they can get the airplane. So a lot of times the market is split based on the fact that they can't get a plane from Boeing anytime soon, so they go to Airbus or vice versa, depending on the kind and type of plane that they want. Other entrants in the lower marketplace for airplanes is heating up as well, with Embraer down in Brazil and Canadair that is now owned by Airbus up in Canada. They compete in the same market. And there's also several other companies that are starting to build planes in that marketplace. So the choice and selection of airplanes, for example, is quite robust. So the challenge there is, what is the barrier to entry? If your barrier is extremely low, like let's say that you're writing a book, it doesn't take much to get a book published anymore. So the barrier to entry there is quite low, and you could have a lot of mystery novels, for example, that compete with the mystery novel you just wrote. Or you could, make any sort of a widget that somebody else could easily make, and the barrier to entry is low. So you have to then rely on your ability to differentiate your product once again and make your product stand out. So looking into the Porter's 5 Forces model lets you understand different ways to look at your market, from new entrants to copied products to various different means that other people could compete with your products that can be threats to how you can move your business forward. So this talk has been about the 5 Forces model. We got a couple more videos to make on other ways that you can also look at your competitive advantage and tweak your strategic plan to get the best plan moving forward. Thanks for joining, and we'll hope to see you again. Bye. If you enjoyed the content that you saw today and would like to help me grow the channel, hover your mouse over my picture to the left and click on subscribe. There are also other videos showing on the screen that you might enjoy.